So basically, this commenter is telling me that I'm either clever or I have issues, as if you have to be one or the other. So I guess let's figure out which one it is together. After reading this comment, the first thing that struck me was every video is either happy or sad, and that I post my problems, but I never listen. That's not true. Okay. I post the problems that I feel comfortable with putting out on the internet. I'm not naive. I know anything I put out there is going to be there for extended periods of time, if not the rest of my life, at least, very least, right? Or forever. So I am careful about the problems that I put out to the community. And the part about never listening, I'm not sure if there's something specific that you asked me that maybe I didn't respond to, or you think that I didn't take in. But there's a difference between listening to other people's suggestions and their attempts at helping you, and whether or not it's the right thing for you in your specific situation. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate it or that I'm not reading it or listening to it. It just means that perhaps in this situation, you don't necessarily know the right way or the right path for me to go down. As far as the happy versus sad videos, this is a diary. I never, ever made that unclear. It has been a diary from the beginning, and diaries are not the same as having a television show, right? Diaries are a lot more personal. They're a lot deeper, and they have a lot more weight to them. And not all of the topics that we discuss are necessarily things that are happy or joyful or something to celebrate. And that is indicative of life, period. And this is my life. I am literally putting my life out there for all of you. And not in an egotistical way necessarily, but just because I know this is a struggle, this journey of moving to the UK. It's a big deal. And, it's my way of asking for help to not only acclimatize to my new home, but also, deal with some of the things that I've had to leave behind, or help understand things that I might not understand, but also as a testimony to the fact that, seeing things in a different light can sometimes change your life, quite often will. And I'm seeing things in a different light, and it is changing my life, and you're coming along with me for the journey of those changes. Now, not everything that we have in our life is positive. Not all the changes are necessarily a change in life that we are comfortable with, or that we're satisfied with, or that we want to make sure. I understand your point when you say that your past isn't gone. And I did address that. I did actually make that point in one of the videos. I understand that, and I agree with that 1,000%. The memories and what we have in our hearts are the most important thing. And anything that I knew was enormously important to us was packed in the suitcases. I'm not saying that is not a valid point, but that doesn't make the things that we left behind any less important, right? They're second tier of our life. It's a fair question to sit with. What's actually replaceable and what isn't. And I made sure that the stuff that wasn't replaceable came with us, like I said. But what you have to understand is these two bins aren't just stuff. They're my daughter's childhood. They're photos of my sister and my dad who are no longer with us. 40 plus years of my life. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of memories. And 20 years of the life that I built with my partner, and the first half of my child's life. Well, the first decade or so of my child's life. That's not something that is really easy to let go of. It's not that it's not possible. It's just not easy. And I'm not going to lie and tell you guys it is. As far as another commenter who had mentioned, a few people had mentioned, just go back and get it. Yeah, that's not as simple as it sounds. Any comments that you give me, I always take in that stride. I know what's what. I understand that you may not have all of the necessary information to make the right decision for me, but I also know you're trying to help, and you have big hearts, and you want to do what's best for me. But this is where it stopped being about boxes. To say that it has to be either I'm clever or I have issues is extremely disturbing to me. Not because it's a personal attack in any way, because I get attacked all the time on this channel, especially in the comments section, and especially when I put something out very personal and emotional. It's just more of an accusation from a very black and white vision. And life is not like that. Also, it's another public sob story every other day kind of point of view is not accurate. It's an ongoing struggle. It's something I probably will never be completely over because it has to do with my mother. And those wounds never really heal completely, no matter how you might evolve in your relationship with a parent. I process this stuff out loud because that is my outlet, and that's what a diary is supposed to do. That's what this channel actually is. And I don't think that it's a black and white issue. Nothing in life really is. You also helped me because there was a few comments about this new term that I had never heard before called the immigrant wall. And it was language that I didn't have. And around this timeline, 2 to 3 year mark, apparently, when you do immigrate to somewhere, the life you left, you starting to realize that the life that you left behind hasn't frozen and that they've all moved on and you have like a grief associated with that. And I didn't know that was even really a thing. And apparently that's part of what I'm going through by far. And I'm really glad that I put that out there because I would have never really known or realized that that's what part of this is. And I'm glad that I have something that has a name to it only because it helps me to realize I'm not alone and that it's something that's common and it's not something that I'm isolating myself around. But it doesn't resolve things. It just relocates it. Really, something's not wrong with me, but it's something that happens to people who go along this journey and you have to grieve that. But what people don't understand is grief doesn't necessarily equal regret. I feel lost daily in one way or another. I lived in the United States for 45 years of my life. I will always have a tie to it, and I'm not going to apologize for that. I don't feel regret about my decision on any level. I would do it all in a heartbeat again. The thing is, I can have that loss and I can have that grief, but I can also genuinely be happy living here in the UK. Both can be true at the same time, in the same body, in the same person, in the same day. Anybody who's been through a big journey like this is never going to tell me to just move back. It would be that simple. So I immediately kind of just gloss over those comments because I know that is from somebody who does not have the knowledge base to really make an intelligent argument on this particular subject. But I understand and always remember why I left in the first place. It's because of my daughter, to protect my child, to give them a better life, to give myself and my partner a better chance at a better second half of our life, and to try to have a future that was safe and that was viable. For anyone that's still with me, and I hope you all are, I really need you to hear something. I want you to hear it and not just watch me. I don't think that the answer is for me to move back to the United States. I never at least at this point in time, I don't see myself doing that ever. The United Kingdom, living here in England, has taught me way too much about who I am and what I want out of life, and a lot of lessons and a lot of realizations about what my life was in the United States, the people, what I was doing with my career, the environment I was in, the culture that I submerged myself into, that I can't unsee now. So I don't see that being a viable option for me in the future. So just move back is not an option. It's not a realistic option, I should say. And it definitely comes from somebody that doesn't understand. For those of you who are curious, the boxes apparently are in transit, and I don't have any dates or timelines or anything, or guarantees that I'm actually going to get any of it back still, but apparently there has been some progress and I am happy about that. But again, it is not about the specific things necessarily that are in it. It's about what they represent. It's about the first half of my life. It's about my daughter's childhood. It's about the life that I built with my partner for 2 decades in the United States. It's also about the fact that my mother has them. And my mother's the one that is not being forthcoming or agreeable or willing or wanting or whatever the reason is to try and help me get these to push my current life forward or my new life forward. And it's a lot of history and tension that comes along with all of that a lot of you will never really fully understand, because I'm not going to delve out all of the details on a YouTube channel. But this is proof of my life, and that is not easy to let go of. And I'm not going to pretend that it is. It's also a realization that that part of my life is completely over. All the people that were in it, all of the accomplishments that I made up until the point that we left, even though it's my choice, doesn't make it any less hurtful. It's like breaking up with someone that you really truly love. Just because you broke up with them and you know that's the right thing to do doesn't make that breakup not hard because you chose to do it. I have no idea what the next chapter is going to look like, and I'm slowly regaining strength to face it. But I just wanted you all to know that I read all the comments, even if I can't respond to them all. I hear you, and I take everything that you say on board. I take my responsibility in this community very seriously. But my life is just one story in billions. And there's so many other people out there I know that are hurting worse than I am, have much harder obstacles to overcome than I. What one person's struggle doesn't make another person's struggle any less hard or make it any less realistic for that person to deal with. And comparing those types of struggles and weighing them as if it's a competition is where we lose, sense of humanity and compassion and empathy. I share my life on this channel as a self-documentary, but also as evidence that my journey, that my choices have caused me to learn and grow as a person, and that seeing things differently can change your entire world, because that's what moving to the UK did for me. And I never want to discourage anybody that is interested in improving their life in some way. I know I made this choice. I accept the responsibility that comes with that choice, the good, the bad, the indifferent, and the ugly. And I understand my responsibility as well.